Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your sources, dig in deep, and pull out the key insights for you. Today, we're looking at something, well, fundamental, but often invisible: the global laboratory testing service market. I mean, think about it: medical diagnostics, food safety, environmental checks, making sure industries follow the rules. It all relies on lab testing. It's kind of the hidden engine. Our main source for this is the latest data from cognitive market research, and the numbers themselves tell a story right off the bat. Okay, get this. In 2021, the market was worth nearly $91 billion globally. That's projected to climb over $113 billion by 2025, and then, wow, leak to almost $175 billion by 2033. We're talking a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR of 5.6%. That's pretty robust, steady growth. So my first thought is, okay, let's unpack this a bit. What's really driving such consistent expansion in a sector that feels so, behind the scenes?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's interesting because the growth isn't just superficial, it runs deep. A huge part of it is tougher regulations. Think environmental rules, pharma safety. They demand more rigorous, quantifiable proof. That means more testing.
Right, more complex rules need more complex proof.
Exactly. Then there's the growing burden of chronic diseases globally. Aging populations, lifestyle shifts.
Right.
It all points to needing better diagnostics, earlier detection, personalized medicine. Lab tests are crucial for that.
Okay, so regulations and health trends.
And public health awareness is just higher than ever. People want proactive screening, constant monitoring for infections, food safety, you name it. So these factors combined create this, well, undeniable surge in demand for lab data.
That makes a lot of sense. A real convergence pushing for more precision, more verification. So, with these big global drivers, are we seeing this growth everywhere? Or does it look different depending on where you are in the world? Because the regional breakdown looks really interesting.
Oh, absolutely. The regional picture is definitely varied. Asia Pacific, for instance, was already leading in 2021, almost $30 billion.
30 billion. Okay.
But its momentum is what's striking. It's projected to more than double, over $62 billion by 2033. That's the highest regional CAGR, 6.2%.
Wow, doubling. Where's that coming from mostly?
Well, China is a huge part, obviously expected to hit over $20 billion itself. But India actually has the highest growth rate in the region, 7.2% CAGR.
India at 7.2%. Interesting. Why so fast there?
It seems to be a mix of expanding healthcare access, a rapidly growing diagnostic sector for a huge population, and significant investment. And Taiwan's another standout, 7.6% CAGR, really reflects strong innovation there, especially in biotech and medical devices, plus strategic investment.
Okay.
And then you've got Japan, South Korea, Australia, Singapore, Southeast Asia, all showing strong growth too, really investing in lab infrastructure.
So Asia Pacific is clearly surging, but what about the, let's say, more established markets like North America? How do they fit in?
North America is still a massive piece of the puzzle, no question, almost $23 billion back in 2021.
Right.
And it's climbing steadily to over $42.6 billion by 2033. That's a solid 5.4% CAGR. The U.S. is the giant within that, of course. Over $16 billion in 2021, heading towards nearly $30 billion.
Okay, so still very significant growth.
Definitely. But what's interesting is Canada's actually growing a bit faster, 6.5% CAGR.
Oh, why is that?
Could be specific government pushes for healthcare modernization, maybe a slightly lower starting point, giving more room for percentage growth. Hard to say precisely, but it stands out.
Yeah.
Mexico, on the other hand, is growing slower, around 4.2%. Different phase of development, perhaps.
Interesting contrast within the same region. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. How's Europe looking? It's mature, but also diverse.
Europe holds its ground firmly. Over $18 billion in 2021, projected to hit just over $34 billion by 2033. The CAGR there is 5.3%.
Pretty similar to North America overall, then.
Roughly, yes. But within Europe, the UK is leading the growth pack at 6.4% CAGR, likely driven by NHS investment and its strong life sciences sector. Germany's close behind at 5.6%, leveraging its big pharma and chemical industries.
Makes sense.
France, Italy, Russia, Spain, they're all contributing steadily too. Growth rates mostly between, say, 4.4% and 5.6%. But here's a really interesting detail. The rest of Europe category, think Eastern and smaller markets, is actually growing fastest. A remarkable 9.1% CAGR.
Wow, 9.1%. That's huge.
Yeah, it suggests they're really catching up fast, adopting testing standards, building infrastructure, maybe aligning with EU norms.
That's a fascinating sign of development there. Okay, so beyond the big three regions, where else are we seeing notable expansion?
The Middle East is definitely showing impressive growth, a strong 6.4% CAGR overall.
Okay.
It's on track to more than double its 2021 value of about $6.5 billion to nearly $13.6 billion by 2033.
What's fueling that?
A lot of it is major investment in healthcare modernization and also economic diversification efforts.
Hmm.
Countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE are really pushing this, with growth rates over 7%.
Right, building up those sectors.
Exactly. Qatar, Egypt, Turkey are also strong contributors in that region. Then if we look at South America, it was valued around $7.3 billion in 2021. That's expected to grow to nearly $14 billion by 2033, so about a 5.5% CAGR.
Also pretty solid.
Yep. Brazil and Argentina are the key drivers there, both
Mhm.
growing around 5.7% or 5.8%, a lot tied to improving healthcare, but also food and agricultural safety, which is big for their exports too.
Got it. And finally, Africa often faces different challenges, but is the sector still making progress?
It is, absolutely. The overall CAGR for Africa is slower, about 2.9%.
Okay.
But the key word is consistent progress. It's growing from just over $6 billion in 2021 to projected over $8.4 billion by 2033. Now, that pace might seem modest compared to, say, Asia Pacific, but it represents really important foundational development.
So steady, even if slower.
Precisely. South Africa leads the continent at 3.1% CAGR, having more established infrastructure. But the rest of the region is also growing steadily, between 2.6% and 3.3%. It signals ongoing improvements in healthcare, public health programs kicking in, more industrialization, shows real future potential as things continue to build.
Oh, okay, that gives us a great world tour.
And if you zoom out, again, connecting all these regional stories, you see this clear global upward trend. It really underlines that increasing demand everywhere for diagnostics, for regulatory compliance, for just basic public health safety. It's more than just market figures. It feels like it reflects a global shift towards prioritizing quality, safety, and using data and innovation to achieve that.
So bringing it back to the listener, what does this all really mean for you? Why should you care about this seemingly technical market?
Well, it means this huge, quiet industry is fundamentally supporting your health, your safety, the progress we see around us, that organic label on your food, the confidence in a new medical treatment, the air quality reports. It's this lab testing sector working behind the scenes, providing the proof. It's ensuring quality in everything from medicine to water, quietly, consistently, and as we've seen, growing really robustly. So we've definitely had a deep dive into this global laboratory testing service market. Foundational role, strong growth everywhere. It's a quiet giant shaping our world.
It really is. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? As these testing services get even more sophisticated, more widespread, what kind of fundamental shifts could we see? How might societies approach things like public health, preventative medicine, even environmental protection differently in the coming decades, driven by all this data? Will it fundamentally change how we manage health and safety? That's a great question to think about, something to definitely mull over. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive today. Keep exploring, keep learning.
Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're exploring a world that's absolutely vital to our health, but maybe one we don't always think about too much. It operates a bit behind the scenes, the dynamic landscape of global laboratory testing services.
That's right. And this sector, it's really a foundational pillar. It supports diagnosis, treatment, pretty much all of our health management.
Exactly, even if it's not front and center in our minds daily. So our mission today is to unpack the key dynamics shaping this crucial market. We want to give you a clearer picture of how these services are transforming and hopefully bring some compelling insights to light.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is just how expansive and impactful this field is. So this deep dive, it should shed some light on the major forces really pushing this market forward, and also the significant challenges it faces, and of course, the crucial trends that are actively reshaping how lab testing services are delivered and, well, consumed worldwide.
And how does this connect to the listener?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, these shifts directly impact your health management. Everything from getting, increasingly precise diagnoses to enabling really personalized treatment strategies. Yeah. It's fundamentally about empowering better health outcomes at every single turn.
Okay, so let's kick off our exploration then.
Hmm.
Let's talk about those major forces propelling the market forward. What's the first big driver you've seen coming through in the sources?
Okay, well, the first powerful force, without a doubt, is the rapid advancements in diagnostic technologies. We're moving way beyond traditional methods here.
Like what, specifically?
Think about next-generation sequencing, for example. NGS. It's not just theoretical anymore. Labs are actually using it now to identify things like hospital-acquired infections, and with remarkable accuracy, sometimes in under 4 hours.
4 hours. Wow, that used to take Days, right?
Exactly. Days and multiple tests. So this dramatically reduces potential outbreaks. It's huge. Or consider digital pathology,
Yeah.
where you have high-resolution scans of tissue samples being analyzed by AI. This helps pathologists spot tiny anomalies much faster than the human eye alone.
Which must be critical for things like cancer detection.
Absolutely critical, especially for early detection. So these technologies, combined with AI and automation integration, they're not just buzzwords. They're genuinely increasing precision and um, boosting operational efficiency in labs all over the world.
That's definitely a huge driver, really revolutionary applications there. And what's the other key force you mentioned that's shaping things in such a profound way?
The second major force we identified is the increasing prevalence of chronic and infectious diseases.
Right, things like cancer, diabetes.
Exactly. Cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, they require consistent monitoring and often frequent specialized testing for effective management. And it isn't just about the rising numbers either, it's also about the lessons we've learned.
You mean like with COVID?
Precisely. The COVID-19 pandemic starkly highlighted just how essential robust infectious disease surveillance and rapid diagnostics are, essential for public health on a global scale. So the sheer volume and frequency of testing needed for both chronic conditions and emergent diseases like that, it's surging, and that places immense demands on the whole lab infrastructure.
Right, so these forces are powerful. They're pushing the market forward incredibly fast. But, as we know, no market is without its hurdles. What are some of the significant challenges that labs are grappling with today?
Yeah, beyond that constant demand for innovation, labs face a few sort of persistent challenges. Economic fluctuations are a major one.
Okay. How does that play out?
Well, when healthcare expenditures tighten up, it directly impacts lab revenues and, crucially, investments in new technology. So this forces labs into this constant balancing act, cost control versus adopting cutting-edge
That
diagnostics.
sounds like a tough tightrope walk.
It really can be. But it's not just economics. There's also a pretty significant global shortage of skilled medical laboratory scientists.
Ah, the workforce issue.
Yeah. And this isn't just some abstract problem, it directly impacts turnaround times and the overall capacity to actually meet the surging demand for tests. It puts pressure on the entire system.
Okay, so significant challenges there with costs and people. Yet, despite those challenges, innovation clearly continues to drive change, which leads to some really fascinating evolving trends. What's one of the most prominent trends you've observed in how lab testing is being approached now?
Well, one really prominent trend is the surging demand for personalized and specialized diagnostic tests.
Personalized, so moving beyond the standard tests.
Exactly. This is all about precision medicine,
Hmm.
where, for instance, a patient's unique genetic profile might dictate the exact chemotherapy drug most likely to work for their specific cancer.
Right, moving away from that one-size-fits-all approach.
Precisely. Patients and their doctors are increasingly looking to genetic, molecular, and biomarker-based tests to inform truly tailored treatment strategies. And this is especially impactful in areas like oncology, infectious disease, and cardiovascular health.
And isn't there also something about testing becoming more direct?
Yes, running alongside this, we're also seeing the rise of direct-to-consumer testing, DTC. It offers incredible convenience, and it really empowers the patient. It gives them direct access to certain lab results, often without needing that initial clinic visit.
That seems like a game changer for accessibility.
It absolutely is.
That shift towards patient empowerment is really quite remarkable. And what's the other transformative trend you see running in parallel with this demand for personalization?
In parallel with that, digital transformation is really taking center stage. We're seeing AI-powered analysis, automation, cloud-based systems. They're truly revolutionizing lab operations.
So, faster processing.
Faster processing, yes, but it's more than that. These technologies don't just streamline sample handling, they dramatically reduce human error and significantly increase throughput, especially in high-volume settings.
Makes sense.
And what's particularly impactful here is the integration with electronic health records, EHRs.
Ah, the digital backbone you mentioned.
Exactly, essentially the digital backbone for patient data. This integration allows for instant, secure sharing of lab data between providers, between labs, even with patients sometimes, which dramatically improves care coordination, speeds up diagnostics, and it even supports broader population-level health strategies by providing real-time data.
So it's really becoming central.
It's clear that digital innovation isn't just a trend anymore, it's becoming central to how modern laboratory testing services operate.
Wow. Okay. What an insightful deep dive into the global laboratory testing services market. So just to quickly reinforce what we've discussed for
Yeah.
everyone listening, we saw how the market is really powerfully driven by, one, these rapid advancements in diagnostic tech,
Right, like NGS and digital pathology.
exactly, and two, the increasing prevalence of both chronic and infectious diseases.
Yeah, the demand is just growing.
We also dug into the significant hurdles labs have to navigate, particularly those economic pressures
Balancing cost and innovation.
and the workforce shortages.
Hmm.
And critically, we identified how the landscape is constantly evolving, with that surging demand for personalized, specialized tests.
Precision medicine, DTC testing.
And alongside that, this transformative digital integration, AI, automation, EHRs.
Yeah, it's all knitting together.
So wrapping things up, what's the final takeaway?
Well, this all raises a really important question, I think, for you, the listener, to consider. Given this accelerating pace of technological change and the growing demand for healthcare that's both personalized and accessible, how might your own interactions with laboratory testing services evolve in the coming years?
That's a great question. How will precision medicine and digital tools change my experience?
Exactly. Think about the implications for your personal health journey and, for the broader healthcare system too. These trends, they really do empower individuals. You get more data, more choices in your health, which just underscores the ongoing importance of, well, critical understanding in this rapidly evolving medical landscape. Food for thought.